Peace and Yah bless. Yah is the strong one. The strong one is Yah. He's the tree of life. He's the fountain of living waters. He's the spirit and creator of all things that live and breathe. On this particular discourse, I'm going to talk about the Exodus and the day of the Lord, or the day of Yah. A very, very, very important day called the day of Yah. The day of Yah basically is the judgment of Yah. And he's going to judge different parts of the world when those days occur. It's not just one singular judgment. Okay? All right. So before we talk about what's in front of you, let's go over to the book of Joel. All right? Chapter number 2. Very, very, very popular, okay? These few verses, okay? The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of Yah come. Now pay attention to this in verse number 32. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yah shall be delivered. That's the most important part of Joel chapter 2. It's whosoever shall call on the name of Yah shall be delivered. So you have to know what the name of Yah, you have to know the name of God, okay? All right? You have to at least know what it is. Psalm 68:4 tells you how to say it, but it's spelled YHWH, okay? But those who've called upon the name of Yah and turned back to his laws, his statutes, and his commandments, those people will be delivered. Okay, when it comes time for the exodus from the four corners of the earth, okay? And they'll be delivered from the calamities that's going to come upon different regions of the earth, okay? So you have to know his name in order to call upon his name, in order to be delivered, right? Then he tells you, for in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. Okay? In Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yah have said. Okay? So God has said these things. Okay? And in the remnant whom Yah shall call. Very important. Because it's only going to be a remnant, okay, that Yah will call. So Yah himself is going to call this remnant of people, okay? So it doesn't matter about you being a Hebrew Israelite. It doesn't matter if you're black. It doesn't matter if you know your identity, okay? All right? It's what's in your heart that counts, okay? That's the biggest part, okay? But it's going to be a remnant. A remnant is not very many people, even though many people are going to come out. Remember that. Okay? Ezekiel tells us many people are going to come out. Ezekiel 20, right? They're going to come out, but most of them are going to be rebels and transgressors. And some who already came out before and tried to go into the land, but as you can see, none of them can make it into the land. And it doesn't matter about them having status. It doesn't matter if they're, like I told you, athletes or actresses or actors or singers or whatever walk of life they may come from. If they're rebels and transgressors, they're not coming into the land. And they can't buy their way into the land. There ain't going to be no getting, I got $1 million, let me come in. They're not going to, the Edomites in the land not going to hear that. Because they see these people trying to come in as being spies, coming in and spy the land out. Like they did back in, in the time of the Exodus, right? Okay? All right, we know already about the Exodus in Ezekiel chapter 16. Verse number 55, we know about the order of the Exodus, okay? Sodom, her daughters, they went back first to their former state, Ben-Ami, right? What they call the kingdom of Yah, right? Then you had Samaria and her daughters return to their former state, who call themselves today the PLO, right? Then thou, Jerusalem, and thy daughters shall return to your former estate, okay? We have to turn to our former estate, all right? Now, when it comes time for this exodus to happen, it has to happen, in a orderly fashion, okay? When it comes time for this last movement to return, okay? It has to be in an orderly fashion. It can't be all out of order, okay? But one thing we know is going to happen, we know that those rebels and transgressors are going to try to come back out, okay? Even some ones who've already came out, I've heard about. Different athletes and stuff like that, trying to go into the land, but none of them can go into the land, okay? They're not going to be allowed, okay? Even when this exodus happened, they're still not going to get into the land, okay? That's what verse 38 tells you right here in Ezekiel chapter 20, okay? Go there in your book. The Most High says, I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the countries. So he's going to bring them forth out of these countries where they are sojourning today. So where they're staying at today, yeah, he's going to bring them out. The ones that went over to Africa so far and the ones still going over there, he's going to bring them out. But they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am Yah. They're going to know that. See, we knowing he's God. We knowing he's God now because it's already been happening. People have been trying to buy their way into Israel. These athletes trying to buy their way in, beg their way in, or sex their way in, whatever you want to say. They've been trying to do these things. Many people have, women and men, but none of them can go into the land because what? They are rebels and transgressors. Most High said he's going to purge them out. Okay? He's going to purge them out. And it, like I said, it may be through those very chips. Okay? That may be a part of it, how they get purged out. Okay? Like I said, those things, it's just hard to make a call on what should be done about that situation. But we know it's not good. We know that much, okay? For those, who have already done that, a lot of people, right? Okay, like I said, in the future, if it's something that happens, then, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes down, okay? That's all we can say about it. And we're going to leave that in the hands of God and what he wants to do with the nation of Israel and with the rest of the world, dealing with the future of economics, okay? But yeah, all these rebels and transgressors, they're going to try to come out again, and they've been trying to come out, and many have left America, but they're not going to go into the land of Israel. They'll have to go somewhere else, okay? Because they're rebels and transgressors of Yah's law, and they're not keeping any of his law, and they do not worship Yah. They do not worship Yah. Many of them, they don't call upon the name of Yah. Okay, they call upon all kinds of idols and women and goddesses and anything in general, okay, other than the name of Yah. And that's why Yah's not going to let them come on in. Okay, he ain't going to let them walk in or preempt. Once again, as I told you, he's not going to let them preempt the seed of David. Okay, he's not going to let them preempt the seed of David. He's not going to let them preempt the Jerusalem movement. Okay, he's not going to let them preempt us, going into the land. Now, for you gentlemen, like I told you, for the ones who take back brides, very important that you find the bride for you, who was meant for you, who can go the distance with you. I'm talking about from marriage all the way to the grave, okay? Very important that you find the right set of brides, the right set of women who are really interested in you as a person, okay? Who have love for you. Very, very important. Very important, gentlemen. I'm telling you that, man. Very important, okay? Let's go to Proverbs 31. Very important to understand Proverbs 31, okay? Favor is deceitful. You hear that? Favor is deceitful. And beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth Yah, right, or God, right, she shall be praised. In other words, she will receive accolades, right, because she fears the Most High. But any women who do not fear God, man, who don't fear Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, or the YHWH, the true God, right, of all living, right, if they don't fear the Most High, they're not calling upon the Most High's name, more than likely the Most High still not going to allow them to come into the land, man. he'll look at them as being rebels and transgressors also. So you have to be careful who you pick for this journey. If you cannot find anybody who has that heart that Ruth, the Moabitess, had, right? If you can't find someone like that, well, all I can tell you is, hey, travel by yourself. And many of us may end up traveling by ourselves, you know what I mean? Including me. You know, who knows, right? Because you don't really know these people's hearts. You think you know their hearts, but you really don't know. Okay? Because it's all kind of background noise going on. I've heard a lot of background noise. You know, exchanges of money and all kinds of stuff. You know, so you never know what you're going to get. But see, Yah sees these things take place. The angels see it. They witness it. And they tell us of it. And they tell us of these evil plans, okay? You know, because these power elite, they're not totally on board yet. Only at the judgment of Esau will they finally see that they're not going to be able to do. It's going to be Yah doing that, because, you know, some of these elites are, you know, they're the ones paying these, you know, these Hezbollahs and these Hamas not to do much. Okay? They shoot a few firecrackers over there. That's about what it amounts to. Some of the weaponry, firecrackers. They shoot some firecrackers over there and that's it. Here comes the Edomites. Air superiority, bombing them. You know what I mean? So, you know. Anyway. But beauty is vain. So you have to be careful, man. But that woman that feared God, she shall be praised. That's the woman for you. That woman who wants to praise Yah. That woman who respects Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. Okay? Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, Hebrew dialect. That woman. Psalm 68. Okay? His name is Yah, right? Go look it up for yourself. All right? So you can know how to, at least know how to say the name, even if you don't know how to spell it. Very important that you all get to understand it, gentlemen. Find that set of women. If you find anything else, man, if they coming in there with anything other than that, you're already in big trouble. So we have to really, really, really look into the hearts of these women. I'm talking about look hard, man. Look real hard. Watch them. Watch their ways. Because if they're not about Yah, it'll be revealed. If they're not about God, it'll be revealed. He'll reveal it to you in one way or another. Okay, so be careful, gentlemen. Heed my words as your brother, all right? Now, to the Exodus. This is going to be the Exodus rollout and plan, okay? 3 different waves, okay? Now, as you can see, wave number 1, and here are the regions. There's 3 regions. You have North America, okay? South America, and Greenland. Okay, Canada, all in one region. I call that Region A. Then we have in the red, we have Region B. And that's going to cover the African continent. That's going to cover, you know, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, and all the European countries, okay? Including, I forgot what the name of that is, but anyway, Australia, right here. Australia, my bad. Okay, and then Region C. Region C will be all the Asiatic, you know, nations for you know, because, you know, black people, we're spread all over the place, okay? So we're all over in these areas too, okay, in those countries too, okay? And some of, you know, some people who, you know, called upon Yah, okay, they're in those countries too, all right, or know about Yah, okay? So as the Most High said, we'll be coming from the 4 corners of the earth, you know, looking like this, coming back to the land of Israel, okay? Planes coming from everywhere, okay, coming to Ben Gurion Airport, right, at the appropriate time, right? But Region C is in the green, okay? That's all in the green right there. You know, Russia, you know, all the Asiatic countries, India, Pakistan, so on and so forth, because we are in all of those regions, okay? But this is the way the Exodus rollout will be done. Remember what it says in Jeremiah chapter 3. You know, the Most High says, I will take you 1 of a city and 2 of a family, right? Jeremiah 3 and 14. And bring you to Zion, okay? So, you know, it, like I said, it'll go in waves, okay? All right, for all those who make it into the remnant. Okay, you have to make it into the remnant. It ain't going to be just thousands of people leaving. It ain't going to work like that. That's why the Most High tells you he's going to take you 1 of a city and 2 of a family. It's probably going to go like that. Okay? Exactly the way he told you it's going to go in this book of remembrance. But this is the Exodus plan that I've rolled out, and I think it's a great plan. on how to bring people back to the Holy Land. So we'll start here. We'll take a certain amount from these regions. We'll bring them back. Then we'll stop that. Then we'll come back to here. Then we'll take a certain amount from this region. And then we'll go to region C. We'll take a certain amount from that region. Then we'll start back over here again. And we'll get, you know what I mean, until we gather up all those whom Yah have called. And then once it comes to its culmination, then it'll be over with. Okay? All right. Well, that's the Exodus plan, rollout plan. I mean, it's pretty good. I'm glad the Most High allowed me to see that, how to see this thing and make it happen and facilitate it in an orderly fashion. Okay? All right. So look forward to this one day in the future. It's going to happen. Okay? It's going to happen. All right? But yeah, you rebels and transgressors, y'all not going to make it into the land. The Most High is not going to allow you to get there. No matter how bad you want to get there, he knows your heart. Or remember, the Most High knows the woman's heart. He knows these men's hearts. He knows the baby's hearts. Remember, the Most High says he knows you when you were just a little child. When you're a baby in the womb, he already knows what your potential is. He already knows what you're going to do before you do it, okay? He already knows what you were going to do when you were a grown-up at this particular time about this situation. He knew you were going to be a rebel. He knew you were going to be a transgressor. He already knew what you were going to be from the time you were born. He also knew who was going to call upon his name, okay? He also knew who was going to turn to him. He also knew who was going to turn to him and turn their back to the Holy One of Israel, and then try to turn back to him, which he does not allow. Okay? All right, that's Ezekiel chapter 18. Go read it. Tells you about that. Most High says, when you turn away from him and you try to turn back, he says, man, everything you've already done, he's not going to make any mention of it. It's like you did it all for nothing. So never, ever turn your back to the Holy One of Israel, whose name is Yah. But that's the Exodus rollout plan, okay? That's right. We make plans. We have plans. We don't sit here and just, not be able to facilitate this thing on our own. Okay? We let Yah work through us, and he'll tell us, what should be done and how it should be done. And then we, the elite, just put it together, but we direct the elite on how it should be done. Or they look to our, our lead to lead it. Okay? Me being naturally at the top of our government in the future, right? We lead these things and we come up with these ideas, okay, to facilitate these matters, okay? All right. So remember what I told you, gentlemen. Okay, make sure you get the right set of brides, the right set of women betrothed unto you. Okay? That way you're not disappointed when you're looking for them, you can't find them. And you find out, oh man, rebels and transgressors, so they didn't make it. Their flights got diverted, you know what I mean, to Costa Rica or somewhere, Costa Rica, or even back to Africa, Nigeria, Ghana or somewhere, you know what I mean? Didn't make it to Israel, okay? Because in this Exodus, we may not all come out like that, As you can see by Jeremiah chapter 3 and 14, it says, I'm going to take you one of a city and two of a family. So everybody ain't going to be coming out all together. It ain't going to work like that. It ain't going to be no big old families all together. That's not how the Exodus is going to work. Okay? It may be a couple of members from that family that go out, and then that's it. The rest of them have to wait for the next wave to come in. So if the wave starts here, we'll draw people from here, then we'll draw from here, and then we'll draw from here. And then we'll start back over back here. Then we'll draw from here, and draw from here, and draw from here. And then we'll start back over. You see what I'm saying? Until we get, all the people recovered who's supposed to be recovered, who's supposed to be in that remnant. See, the key word in Joel chapter 2, in that remnant whom Yah shall call. Very important. Okay? Those who call upon the Most High's name in sincerity. Okay? And want to do his laws and his statutes and his commands in sincerity. Because if you're not doing them now, you're not going to be inclined to doing them in the land of Israel. This we know. Okay? Thank you all for listening. Peace and Yah bless. And this is the Exodus rollout plan, and what a plan it is. I'm glad to see God working through me mightily, even in these days and times. Thank you all for listening.